launcher sites, and that'll be it for another 2 years. Nobody thought Hamas had the capabilities of this, right? Everyone got fooled. So again, the whole situation is so different. Urban warfare versus right? There's no Israeli soldiers on the ground in Iran. There's Mossad, but there's not foot soldiers. It's not infantry, right? The way to handle an urban warfare is very different than when you can bomb from the air. All of those things. And another thing I'll just mention, the way that Gaza plays politically in the Israeli public and the way that Iran functions in society in the Israeli public is very different. Very different relationships to those two ideas. Right? For 40 years, Israel and the West has been trying to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. 40 years.
Real quick, Caleb, on the idea, maybe I'll give you this. Maybe they were, the Israeli intelligence community was being a bit reckless, or I don't think they were under, and I think they knew that there was this kind of styled attack in the making, and they had intelligence. The Shin Bet had intelligence. The Mossad had it. Maybe they didn't think that intelligence was serious enough, or that it was an immediate threat. But the conception was they thought that they would be deterred. Just a second, man. I've read enough about certain articles about how there were prior warnings, not even just the day before or anything, but months and a year before, and there was a lot of signals that the Mossad and the Shin Bet had about this style attack being in the works. But my other point is I'm pretty sure there might be elements of people in Israeli society or even the government that maybe got comfortable with the Hamas there, or didn't, thought they were neutered, or that they had been deterred. But I don't think anyone in those Mossad ranks or Shin Bet ranks were less threatened by Hamas, and I'm pretty sure people in Mossad had already had plans over the last 20 years to do something to that group if they needed to at some point in the future, like they did with Hezbollah. I don't know exactly what, but I just know
it wasn't.
I don't think this goes.
I don't think that's right.
Intelligence, dude.
I mean, look, the security failure of October 7th will run, first of all, out and will run deep, right? So if what you're saying is right, my question is so who ignored the Mossad? And why did they ignore it? Right? If what you're saying is right, and I think on this point, we have to say, Bibi Netanyahu. We have to talk about, right? We have to talk about all of that stuff about him keeping himself in power and his trial and Smotrich and Ben-Gvir and all of these alliances and things like that, and how that functions and works with Hamas. It's a political, right? That's a major, major factor, probably to why. God, my dog is being such a bitch right now. Do you know what I'm saying, Jeff? Nobody in Israel disagrees that we should have taken out the nuclear sites in Iran. Nobody.
Oh, I know that.
Do you think we will ever know exactly what happened on the 7th of October? Because that is something that is bothering my stomach since it happened. It's I don't even want to imply that Israel planned this, of course, but it's just annoying to believe that the best army in the world, this fence where no cat could get close without the alarms going off, that actually was broken into. So do you think that we will ever know, exactly what happened on the 7th of October and who is responsible for that?
We will know, but I think that's what people maybe don't understand. It's not like a guy at the fence. it's an operation that part of it was the overwhelming, okay, which is also what Iran wanted to do. Because, we have the Iron Dome, but you can pass the Iron Dome if you overwhelm it with 1,000 rockets. So when thousands of Gazans go inside in different locations in the fence and sending drones to the first attack that they did is basically on the defense, meaning on the eyes and ears. They blocked they kind of bombed with drones the eyes, the cameras and stuff like this. And then, they started attacking from different locations. And this is how it started, basically. And there are now investigations for each location separately about everything that has happened after the attack. And then they will do also investigation internally of the information. But at the end, in intelligence, yes, there are signals, but you don't always react on signals because sometimes signals are meant to see how you would react. So if, for example, you would, they would kind of go all to one place and then react, then they would know that we see that, for example. So you don't always act on signals. And yes, the thought was that they are deterred.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to actually, I would love for all of that to come to light, because, and if there were people responsible, they should be punished, even if that was, Netanyahu's responsibility, there needs to be people responsible for what happened.
It's not always about punishment because sometimes it's not someone did something that he was supposed to, but you do learn from it. And this is why we do the investigation, not in order to go and hang someone and find, okay, we now know who to blame. That is not the point. The point that we want to do is to see how we can improve from it. What did we miss? What enough? I think it basically is more about thought process, how you conceive Hamas, or how do you understand the connections or abilities, or even import of weapons, or stuff like this. So they will understand how they got things wrong. But I think it's more systematic than finding one person. It's too decentralized. To be one figure.
It was a chain of events rather than just the fault of one person.
But yeah, to learn from it, to every time that something happens, even now in Gaza, every time the soldiers die, so it's immediately an investigation, what was done in the procedures, how did you approach the house, what things did you do before, did you send first a dog and then a drone inside, and then they can see what in the procedure was not wrong, so it will not happen again.
For the same reason, I have trouble,
believing
that it could have been planned because it is so decentralized and it would depend on so many people that you would have needed that all of the IDF would have to agree that there is a breach and that there will be all of these people, hundreds of people killed, right? It would have to be too many complicit people, and there's no way that they would get all of these Israelis to agree for.
Yeah, in an organization basically of people sacrificing their life. It's all about brotherhood. You cannot go inside. It's not about money. We're not a professional army that anyone can just sign in and come out.
This is the livelihood of the people. Every single person is in the IDF, right?
And also with people saying Netanyahu decided, also Netanyahu is not making, he's not a dictator that can make all decisions. Yes. He said that there are nuclear bombs in Iran and he sent the army. He's not an Ayatollah. No one would go if the Air Force, at the end, it goes to intelligence, they need to find the site, they need to find, what ammunition. There's a lot of, stuff going on, except, he said, go bomb Iran, they have nuclear bombs. It's so stupid. So.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's. I would really I think that you guys can do a movie. The failures of the IDF on the 7th of October to see what went wrong. But I would definitely love to see a documentary or something about it, because it's very interesting.
I want to see a movie about Rising Lion, about the operation, the beginning of the operation in Iran, the first night, how it happened.
Uh-huh.
And on the Beatles, how it was planned, how it happened.
That would be amazing.
But also the whole story. I mean, also the story of the entire Mossad in the IRGC and having like a base of drones and starting the attack where the drones are attacking the defense system and planes coming with refueling from after we carved the way through Syria because Assad fed. It's such a domino effect. And Iran is part of the China, Russia, North Korea kind of ally, which a lot of Americans also don't see, that there is an alliance between those, like this axis of countries. And when one of them falls, it weakens the axis.
There should be a full series, on Mossad and IDF and each operation. That would be amazing. I would be hooked.
I don't know. Lately, Mossad is a bit too public. I don't like it so much.
Yeah.
I like it when you never knew if it was Mossad or you didn't know if it was Mossad. It's like
they're speaking too much.
it's more like a mind fuck. Like, how did it happen? Like, how's like the reactor fail? Like, well, we're like, who did it? Like, I don't know. Maybe it was us.
Yeah, but
this thing with the hand.
Are ridiculously intelligent. Like, it's amazing, the minds of those. I mean, you have to be fucked up in the head as well. You have to be evil in order to think like evil, right? I mean, this is
it's a lot like projection. Listen,
yeah, exactly.
It's all of this. Also, this that they say that we like imperialists and greater Israel. Now, the thing is that with this entire greater Israel, like in Judaism, for example, we cannot force convert people. Okay, this is something that Muslim can do, or even Christians can do. So let's say we take over the entire Middle East. And then what? We are like, I don't know, 7 million Jews spread out the entire Middle East, like ruling over those Muslims because we will not convert them. Like, it doesn't work. Like, it's just, I don't see how it could happen. Even if we wanted, we cannot keep such a land. We're not enough people.
Yeah, but that's just logistics, Daniel. That can be fixed.
Yeah? Like, and why? Like, but that's the thing, but why would we do it? To control them? Like, what would we gain out of it? Like, it's not, I don't know, it's weird.
Security.
The what? Why?
You'll get more safety and security. A buffer.
Like, do you think, like, let's say, we'll put like, I don't know, a Jewish prime minister in, I don't know, in Syria, around like around him, all of them are like Muslims, some of them jihadists, and like, I tell you now to do this. Like, fuck you, bitch.
What's fun? What's actually kind of ironic is the fact that you guys don't convert people, or let's say you don't bring those people you conquered into your fold. It's almost worse.
Worse? Yeah. What do you mean?
Well, this is the mentality of a colonizer, right?
Well,
dude, this is just ridiculous. Why not be pluralistic? Why not be pluralistic? Okay.
I'll give you an example.
You were compared to.
Okay. How would you feel? Ready? All right. Let's say this unnamed empire comes to your land and conquers you, and they say, this is our land now. We're going to be this is part of our empire. You will have protection from this empire, and you will be one of its people now.
Wow.
And of course, you might want to say, no, this is my land or whatever, but they come in, they're strong enough to just take it. You're better off than if they just leave you like as a, empireless, unprotected person.
That's not the way empire. That's not the way empire works. At least not in antiquity. That's not the way empire works. The way empire works.
But he's doing a good experiment. Let him cook.
Yeah, it's the way that empire controls minority cultures is to separate them and divide them, not to create pluralistic societies. Right? Empires don't want to create pluralistic societies. They want to create monolithic societies.
I'm just saying it's better. Like, I'd rather be a second-class citizen than not a citizen of the empire.
Do you know anything about Jewish history? Do you understand how long we lived as no citizenship in all of those places? Do you understand that? We understand really well.
I'm just curious.
Because your thought experiment is actually proved out by history.
Yeah, okay, so wouldn't you rather be part of an empire that makes you... I mean...
Why would the empire conquer the land? I guess I don't understand the scenario, right? The empire comes and conquers us and conquers the land and then just says, you're on your own?
No, but it's an empire. Look at the UK, for example. I mean, they had colonies everywhere. They were spreading their values and their thoughts and their costumes and all of this, right? And they allowed them to have autonomy, but they had, they ruled those places.
Yeah, and also
they did well.
It's better to be someone, even if it's a second class, better than no class. Like, if I was living under an empire, but, once in a while, random people from outside the empire can come and just raid my village and kill me without any repercussion because the empire that controls my land doesn't care because it's me. That's worse than, having some protection from it.
So then I never want to hear you critique again the condition of Israeli Palestinians.
Don't be authoritarian, Caleb.
Well,
no, I'm just saying. Do you understand my point? In other words,
no,
okay,
specific.
It's better. Right, so I'm saying
it's better than not, right? But it doesn't mean it's ideal, all right? Like, the second class is better than, or first class is better than second class.
We have
second class is better than nothing.
We have a saying in Spanish that says it's better to be the tail of the lion than the head of a mouse. I don't know if it makes too much sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, so then, Jack, it would be better. So no two-state solution. Let's just conquer the entire land and have the Palestinians be second-class citizens. How do you think about that? What do you think?
Wait, sorry, say that again. No two-state solution.
Okay, it's better to be a first-class citizen, right? But in the absence of that, better to be a second-class citizen. So let's have Israel just annex everything and keep the Palestinians as second-class citizens. That would be better than what they have now, isn't it?
Dude, it would be
100%, and a lot of Palestinians agree with that. A lot of Palestinians agree with that, but a lot of them also want to kill the Jews.
Well, the thing is, too, like, you don't even have to give these people voting rights in terms of Knesset. You can give them local voting rights. Okay, maybe a mayor, the person who might
Puerto Rico.
have some representation
Rico,
there.
The
But,
US.
yeah, I mean, that's way better than the status quo today. And everyone thinks
you sound like a radical right-wing Zionist, Jeff.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's how bad it is.
Going out our farm. We're working on him.
Listen, the solution that's... At this point, it's, like, really just whatever, in my eyes, the Israelis can dictate a lot. They can dictate whether they want to annex, whether they don't want to, whether they want to stay here in the West Bank, whether they don't want to. And everything points in the direction of...
With just
we're keeping this territorial control.
Harder to figure out
and to me, I'm just thinking long term.
That seems to be
it's not sustainable to just keep, a sizable population like that. In the security as well. Like
that's true.
They should have some rights, like from the state.
Well, I think that's true, and also I think you're a little bit giving into the.
Effectively,
that's such a great phrase. I used it already today, right? To sort of to the bigotry of low expectation.
Everybody's trying to be like a journalist.
Like, yes, there should be things granted from the Israeli state, and there should be behaviors and initiatives within Palestinian society to prepare themselves, right, for some other different future. And if you say, "Oh, occupation, they can't do it," right? Well, then. You're just giving up all control. You're saying Palestinians are stupid. You're saying they don't have capacity. And I know you don't believe that.
No, I'm saying they're up against the superpower and they don't have the room to negotiate any terms in their their worth in this conflict is literally their body and numbers on the ground.
All they have to do is say no more violence, and then they get leverage.
But also right now, it is kind of like perfect. No person, you're not gonna do this shit all the time, dude. You've been 2 seconds in the room, you're not gonna interrupt. You need to control your fucking nervous system. You drive me crazy, and you make my nervous system go like crazy. So anyway, like right now is the perfect soil, for this to happen, because Palestinians have been bent over so much right now that, as Jack says, they're willing to take whatever at this point, right? So right now is the perfect moment to like say, okay, they're gonna take whatever it is. So let's give them, the state or whatever and the protection, but let's treat them well, but let's make them part of our country, and they will be well behaved if they see that they are going to be better off, under Israeli control, with houses and healthcare and infrastructure and internet and access to an airport and ports and everything else, so they can have a normal life versus having their whole Gaza destroyed.
It's better than the status quo, 100 times better.
Yeah, but the status quo could change for the worse, right? I agree with you. There's only two things: change the status quo or not change the status quo. But if you change the status quo, you could get the new Ben Gvir status quo, and that wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be good for the Palestinians either.
But the status quo is because of Israel.
Your mic is so low, Simon. It's really hard to hear.
The status quo is not because of Israel.
Sure it is.
Simon, can you not talk so loud in my ear, please?
Yeah, no, I mean, the reality is that, this all stems from Palestinians' values. Like, the reason that they're in the mess that they are in is because of themselves.
It's astounding to me that even... I appreciate that you said it. You said it well, as you usually do. But it's astounding to me that continues to need to be said.
Yeah, but
I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that statement either.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
So
It takes two to tango. It takes two to tango. We all did this together.
Well, I think...
No, we did this together, Sutter.
I agree with you both. Can't I agree with both? I think the Palestinian...
They're incontrovertible positions.
Yes.